Fist flying, no bounds. Podcast kings, we pound for pound. UFC thrills, stills nights get loud. Big EQP, that's how we get down.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GRP. Back at it on a Thursday. Finally back in the room. Finally back in front of the setup. And finally back live. It has been too damn long. Over a week since I've been live. And I'm just happy to be back, man. Holy shit. It's been feels like a long ass time, honestly. Yo, what up? All is good. Appreciate you for coming back.
What's happening with you, man?
Man, I miss doing all of this, honestly. Usually when I'm out of town, you know, I take my stuff with me and we go live and we do it. And this time I couldn't. Yeah, and I did release just that one kind of 20 some minute video, just going over the stuff that, you know, was kind of happening during that time. I did not release one on Sunday because, man, just flying back, we ran into trouble. And on the way, like, just everything, nothing worked out like I wanted it to for Sunday. So, yeah, and the lead up to Sunday too, because we went to the track on Saturday. So and there was rain, and so we were sitting kind of waiting, just hanging out, talking, and just enjoying, you know, each other's company. So, you know, I was hoping maybe on Saturday I could just get some stuff together. And then I edited I edited a bunch of the footage I got, and I was editing on CapCut because I can use, you know, my phone for that, and something got messed up and pretty much messed up all the progress I had. And at that point I threw my hands up and said, screw it, I will come back to this. And I never got time to go back, and it sucks because I was about 70% done. So it was just one of those things. Maybe sooner or later, maybe I'll just put that back together and, you know, put it out there or whatever. But it was cool, man. Like, we had a good time. You know, we took my daughter to her new home, long ass ways away. So yeah, it was a crazy 3 days, basically, like, I don't know, two and a half, maybe a little over 2.5 days of driving. Some adventures throughout that. Nothing big crazy happened while we were driving. Thankfully, we made a lot of stops because we had the dog. So it wasn't too crazy, except for the first day, man. I think it was the first day. Some fuck ass semi truck driver decided he wanted to be a dickhead, and yeah, he basically tried to run me off the road. So yeah, that was interesting, and I thought we were gonna have to pull over and run a fade on the side of the road. He was trying to get me to pull over. I did not pull over because, yeah, I had the women behind me. I'm not trying to get involved in all that, and I did not want things to go bad on this trip. But basically, I was just trying to pass him. He was going slow as shit. And I was behind him. My truck wouldn't go past 75. So I was like, oh, I can make it around him because he's going slow. Halfway through trying to get past him, he speeds up and tries to, you know, swerve into me and shit. Now, granted, you might think, hey, why were you trying to pass him if your truck doesn't go any faster than that? The truck had a governor, so that's why. But I think I said that in that video. But yeah, that basically, yeah, it didn't even matter because, you know, it didn't even matter because I watched him do it to like 2 other people that tried to pass him way up front. So basically, this guy was just a dickhead. That's the way that went. The dog did not get sick. That was great. The dog did awesome. I couldn't believe how good the dog was, honestly. Man, Antoine, the trip was good. The trip was good. The first day was very long. Second day, not too bad. Third day, just anxious to get there. And yeah, I went through Atlanta as well. And yeah, I mean, I wish I could have stopped and like really taken it in, but it was literally just a drive through. We got gas, I think, and that was it. And I took a wrong turn at one point in time. But yeah, man, I wish I could have checked some stuff out, but at least I got to actually be there and roll through, so that was cool. And now that my daughter's gone, it's like, fuck, man. I don't know that it's really set in. It's kind of set in, you know what I mean? Like, just the normal day-to-day stuff where I would normally see her is where it kind of gets rough. But I mean, the cool thing is she she's been pretty awesome about every morning. She'll text me at the time that I leave to say like that she loves me and to have a good day. That's kind of what we would do every morning, because she would leave shortly after me. So she's been texting me in the morning, and I know that's not going to last for a long time, because it's just one of those things that are new. And I'm sure that once she gets busy and gets wrapped up in a job and stuff, it might not, work out that way. But for now, it was kind of nice to have that for the first week of her being gone. How was it being in the rural area again? Was it the first time in a while? Not really, because I mean, like I said, I go out of town for work, and it's always in remote locations, so I have to drive through some weird shit all the time. So it's not really that much different. It's just, different scenery. I guess the only thing I could say is that this day was inevitable since, yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. I knew the day would come. I just, like I said, didn't think that I would have to have her move across the country. But I knew it was always a possibility. So either way, in the end, everything worked out well. They're set up good over at where they are. And yeah, I wish the best for them, and I hope that everything works well for them. And yeah, we just keep in touch, and that's really all we can do. So not to, oh yeah, Kyle Busch. How is it that we go and we get there, and then a staple of North Carolina passes away while we're there? It's insane. And yeah, and we're supposed to do the race, or go to all the stuff, revolving around the race and stuff. And yeah, it's just crazy that happened while we were there. So kind of jumbled things up a little bit on that, on top of the weather. But we did get to watch a little bit of racing while we were there, and we still had a good time. So no big deal. So yeah, no kidding. Did you watch Kyle back in the? Yeah, actually, I do remember when he was back, because we kind of knew, like, well, I kind of knew about him back then just because of the Eminem car. Yeah. And basically, like, yeah, that was the way to know him, really. I've never really followed NASCAR too much. I will probably now more than ever, but yeah, I did pay attention back then. I knew that's where I knew him from, was about that. So Finn, what's going on? How you doing? Welcome in. Anyway, as far as MMA and combat sports go, back to that. Do you remember the day Dale Earnhardt passed? I don't remember the day, but I do remember, like, after it happened and everything. Yeah. Damn it, I didn't get you. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, I don't remember the exact date, but I do remember when it happened. So it was just crazy stuff, man. Crazy things happen sometimes, and it's just the timing is always weird. So, but yeah, back to combat sports, and there wasn't a ton of things going on while I was out. Just a few things here and there, and we'll definitely touch on that in just a minute. This Spurs versus Thunder series has been incredible. Oh, really? Yeah, I haven't really been following. I watched a little bit of stuff here and there. I think I caught parts of a Knicks game at one point in time, but that was really it. So yeah, I haven't really watched a lot of it. I've just been keeping up with whoever's talking about it at any point in time. Ariel Hawani talks about the Knicks all the time, so I keep up with that part of it then. But from listening to his show, but that's about it. So yeah, other than that though, you know, we had some boxing happening over the time that I was out, which I covered a little bit of, you know, previewing a bit with the video that I released, which was Alexander Usyk versus Rico Verhoeven, you know, high level kickboxer Verhoeven from Glory and everything like that, and then you know, making his boxing debut against Alexander Usyk, which is a crazy debut in boxing. So we'll touch on that here in just a minute. There's some shit going on around the Brandrisk event, which is Aiden Ross's event. He did an MMA event this time instead of just boxing, which was somewhat interesting for more reasons outside of the actual fights than there was with the actual fights. Prelims was early as well with the preacher's daughter. Say what? No, that's this weekend. That's this weekend with the Holly Holmes fighting this weekend, right? Are you talking about was earlier today? Is that happening tonight? That's not happening tonight, is it? Given all the UFOs in news, do you think we'll see UFOs in the sky during the White House card? Yes, the weigh-in. Oh, got you. Okay, yeah, I thought I saw it was the weigh-in today. I think the fights are happening tomorrow, right? With that, I actually didn't prep for any of that, but as far as UFOs go, I mean, that would be pretty crazy. That would be the time for them to show up, but they probably won't for that time. They always show up when no one's really paying attention. But UFOs always interest me for sure. But yeah, there has been a lot of stuff in the news about that. It's kind of weird. Anyway, before I go too far, my savior during my trip, of course, was Noctane, because I used it the whole time. Definitely helped me out, keeps you awake and alert. That's what I use it for a lot of, because like I said, I drive for work a lot. Smelling salts, you know, that's the most potent one, the red cap here. They have 3 different potencies. You can check it all out by scanning that QR code on the screen. There's a link in the description below. Appreciate you, Noctane, for the sponsorship. Let's take a whiff of this and get going with what we're here for. And that's actually, I don't think I've opened this bottle in a couple days, so this one might be rough. Here we go. Oh. Yep. Oh, and I also forgot. Woo. Holy shit. Yep, that worked. Noctane, thank you for the sponsorship. Oh my God. I also forgot that I'm kind of battling some sinus and throat, like sore throat issues. I think all the traveling and stuff caught up to me, and that one, whew, that hurt a little bit. I kind of forgot about that because I haven't been using them the past couple days because I've been feeling all this. And yeah, that bottle hasn't been opened in a minute since I was on that trip. Wow. Okay. Back to what we're here for. Thank you, Noctane, for the sponsorship. Appreciate it as usual. Let's get to what we're here for and talk about some combat sports. Yeah, that red cap, man. That shit'll get you. Here we go. Let's get started. And I might have to do some of this by hand at some points because apparently Stream Deck did an update, and for some reason everything was messing up on me earlier. So I'm hoping that it does not. What up, Tyler? Tyler Fish back in the chat. How you doing? Welcome back. Yeah, I'm hoping that none of it messes up on me. But we'll see. If it does, then I will be doing it by hand, manually. But that's okay. We'll make it work. Here we go. Let's get started. Yeah, that update. Yeah, the updates, man. I don't know what's going on. I haven't had an update mess things up in a while, and I was annoyed that I even messed with it. But yeah, as I was saying earlier, Brandrisk, Aiden Ross's event. As we know, it's usually basically a joke. You know what I'm saying? but like when it comes down to it, this one was different. And the reason for that, which I think is ridiculous, is the fact that it was held in the Apex, the UFC Apex in Las Vegas. And like, what the fuck, man? Why? I like, okay, it is what it is. It's just a venue, right? So you can't really get that mad about it. But it basically ties in the UFC, because not only were they in the Apex, which only stuff that has to do with the UFC happens in, but Dana White's there, Hunter Campbell's there, Sean Strickland's there, Arman Tsarukyan's there, like Marab. I don't know if Arman was there. I think he was there, but yeah, Marab's there. Like, everyone's there, you know, and it just kind of just blurs the lines on things, you know. And it's weird, you know. I know that Dana and Aiden are you know, I guess close or something, or cool with each other, obviously, but for Dana to like let this all happen in the Apex was kind of weird. But it was Bob Menery versus Johnny Manziel, and you know, Dana had a vested interest in it and had a bet going as to whether Menery would even show up, and he lost that bet for 10 G's because he bet that Menery wouldn't even show up, and he did. But he got his ass whooped by Johnny Manziel, who really cares, because none of it was really it was all just a joke, really. Ray J versus Super Hot Fire, come on, man. What the fuck? Not only that, but you know, Ray J looked like shit. Looks way out of shape, and you know, he looks old and slow, and it's like, why are you fighting, dude? And not to mention, not that long ago, he was talking about the fact that he was gonna die. He basically said that he was gonna die. And then all of a sudden he's fighting in an MMA event. Like, what kind of weird shit is that? But he got knocked the fuck out, so and that's not good for his health. Now he's in the hospital because of all that. Who knows why? I don't know what's happening, but either way, he tried to say after the fact that it was supposed to all be a setup, and it wasn't supposed to go down like that. So of course Aiden's pissed about that, because he's saying he had no idea about any of that, and they're investigating. So all weird. How much do you think Dana got paid by Aiden to allow this? I don't know, man. And did you see what Ariel said about Aiden and how Aiden replied exposing him? Yeah, Ariel still played it off like, you know, saying that he would still go to the event, that it's like a circus event, and he would watch it, because he had said in the past when he interviewed Aiden that you know, he would want to go or some shit like that. So I don't know, man. It's all some dumb shit. I think Ariel had more of a problem with the fact that it happened in the Apex. The UFC is holding it up as if it's one of their events, and that's what made it look kind of, you know, weird, and just kind of puts a, I don't know, just kind of puts a bad, makes it a bad look for the UFC in a weird way. Should have had Kim K as the ring girl. I don't know that would have worked out so well, but yeah, there's not really much else to talk about on that one, except for the fact that it was just, you know, a bunch of stars were there, and it was just kind of a mockery. The only other thing was that, like I said, Sean Strickland was there. Like, he's the common denominator in every single public issue he's had with someone. Well, I mean, if he has the issue with someone, of course it's him. But he even addressed it during the MVP presser, saying he had problems with both ladies. Well, yeah, but that's because he did have, well, because they had problems with him, he had problems with them, whatever. It was more Ronda being a crybaby and hating everybody, and then so of course she hated Ariel, and then he had a problem with the things that Gina Carano was saying, even though she was supposedly out of context or misunderstood or some shit, whatever. It was all a messy situation. So yeah, I mean, I think he just, I don't agree with everything that Ariel says, and I don't agree with the way that he handles a lot of situations, but he does face them head on a lot of times. But there's times where he acts like the little nerdy douche that he kind of seems like. I like men's MMA more than women's MMA. I think that's I think most people feel that way, honestly, but it's not yeah, I mean, I can understand it, but but it's like all these people: Nick Diaz, Jamal Hill, Dana White, Sean Strickland, and Rampage Jackson. Well, Rampage doesn't really have a problem with him. They're pretty close. They just like to play it off that way. Real hardcores like me prefer WMMA. Tyler. Yeah, again, Antoine, I understand where people, I know why people hate Ariel. I don't hate him at all. I mean, I watch his show all the time because that a lot of things are said on his show that and he knows a lot. So, you know, it's just one of those things like Dana. I mean, so much bad shit could be said about Dana. We've been over that here as well, and the things that Dana does to people. So it's just kind of all the same shit. And when Dana called him out at the UFC 158 press conference, when he said he asked Nick about being late and Dana cut him off, he was just a massive ego and talks shit and acts like he doesn't. This hate was promised to Ariel 3000. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know, man. The whole thing with Ariel, it is what it is. I know all the shit because I've followed Ariel for a long time. Just because no matter what you do, if you watch any MMA content, he's gonna pop up and he interviews everybody. So that's why I watch his show. Like I said, I don't agree with everything he has to say, but at the same time, there's a lot of things I do agree with him with. So I mean, I don't know, it's back and forth. People's beefs are what they are. If it ain't beef with me, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? I'll either talk about it because it's interesting, or I'll just laugh about it. Oh yeah. Well, Jamal Hill's kind of a jackass. I don't know. Jamal Hill he sticks his foot in his mouth all the time with a lot of things. The way that he responds to people, it's just weird. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. Ariel's who he is, and listen, he's more successful than me. that's all. I can't. Yeah, it is. That's just how it goes. Yeah, I just think that he, you know, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not a journalist either, so maybe I don't understand that aspect of all of it. It does seem weird that he has problems with so many people, but yeah, who knows. Anyway, yeah, so the other person that was involved with this, like I said, was Sean Strickland was there, and he was commentating, and it was hilarious because, you know, even it's called Brandrisk, right? Like the name says it all, and it's supposed to be edgy, and it's supposed to be like, you know, whatever, but you know, even an event like this that's kind of a circus, even this kind of event, Aiden Ross was kind of like, it's kind of like, what the fuck are you saying with some of the stuff he said? I heard at one point in time he even said the N-word. Like, he was repeating something that somebody said, but he said the N-word. Sean Strickland did. I'm not surprised. Like that to me,
I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
But you know, I'm just like, holy shit. But on top of that, he's being homophobic. He's talking shit about everybody. And then after the fact, you know, I guess he got up and walked out in the middle of it. But hold on, it's got his name in people's mouths though, aka free advertisement. It's a simple answer. He stirs the pot to get attention, and it works. Yeah. Also, since Michael Beasley and Lance Stevenson competed, do you think they're going broke or just trying to have fun? Man, I don't know why they would even fuck with any of this. I don't know, dude. Honestly, none of this shit makes any sense to me. I'm sure they get paid decent money, but as far as why they're doing it, who knows? Maybe for the money, maybe they just wanted to try MMA and thought this was the easiest way to do it because it's kind of a circus event anyway. So yeah, I mean, you know. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure to say. Yeah, I know. It's just Nate says it in a, not that it makes it any better, but Nate says it in a conversational way, I guess you could say, like he's talking to his homies or whatever. Sean says it in a way that sounds hateful. So I guess that's the only difference. But I was just more like, I heard that he said it. I never actually heard him say it, so I don't know. But I was just naming off the things that I'm just naming off the things that apparently happened while he was commentating or whatnot. But he got up and left in the middle of it. I guess he got tired of it all, and he had some things to say. Of course, he jumps on his phone right away as he's walking out, and he talks shit. So here we go. Let's listen to that.
I've never been a part of anything so shameful in my life, and I hate myself, and I feel like less of a man after being here. Oh God, why'd I agree to this? I tried to get the fuck out of there, man. I'm sick to my fucking stomach. That is fucked up. This is the most fucked up thing I've ever witnessed in my entire fucking life. I gotta go home and look myself in the mirror after that. I've never done anything so shameful in my life being a part of this. Sorry, guys. Try to hide with a friend, and next thing you know, your dignity is gone. Fuck. Yeah, sorry.
So, he said he was there just trying to say hi to a friend, and then he gets pulled into all of it all. Is that really the case? I don't know, but he was there obviously with Nina Drama and was, live streaming with her. Crazy Sean's still riding motorcycles. Why is that crazy? Just because he's fighting? I mean, these guys have, they like the adrenaline rush. So, and Sean does whatever the fuck he wants, so I'm not surprised. What fight are you most excited for at the White House? I'm excited for all of them actually, but obviously the main event that I think Pereira and Gon is interesting as hell, and he suffered a motorcycle accident that kept him. Oh yeah, that's right. He was in an accident or some shit at one point in time. But yeah, it doesn't, I mean, that's how he is. He rides dirt bikes and jumps them and shit. I mean, that's how it goes. But yeah, I mean, I understand riding just because, I mean, I did it for a long time myself. I wish I still had a bike. I told myself after I sold mine, I was going to take a little while off and then get another one, and I still haven't gotten another one. But I want to, so at some point in time I will. But, I know people don't like motorcycles and stuff because they're dangerous and all that shit. I had a lot of close calls myself. But I actually had a Gixxer. That's what I had before was a Gixxer. But at these days, I'll probably get more of like a cruiser, or, I don't know, like a Harley style or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I still love, the sport bike types, honestly, but I just feel like that's probably not the smartest idea for me to be doing that at my age. I would love to have one of each, honestly, but, at some point I would love to get another one. So hopefully that'll happen. My family's in the towing business. Some of the bikes I've seen after crashes, I could never. No, I get that, man. I get that because, yeah, that's the thing, Infinity. I haven't been on one in a minute, so I know that it would suck. It would suck these days with the way I feel after doing simple tasks. So yeah, I would definitely get one that you sit more straight up on for sure. But yeah, Sean, I just think it's hilarious that he's talking all this shit about that and talking about how he feels about it, but yet he goes on and says all this crazy shit. And like I said before, people were talking about how, oh, it's good that Sean was doing this and doing that about making good with Hamzat, and that they were buddy after and all that shit. And I'm just like, listen, oh, and the fact that he apologized and all this shit, people making a big deal about that. But I'm just like, listen, he's gonna be back to it again, and if you watch and listen to the things that he was saying on this event, regardless of how he felt about the event, the things that he was saying is just crazy. So like I said, he was gonna be back to it right away. That's what he does. Maybe he feels bad about it right after, but it's like, bro, just stick to your guns if that's the way you feel. Stop getting on your phone right after you do something crazy and being like, oh, I was just kidding, man. I mean, I feel bad, and come on, man. Were you riding them on the interstate and highway? Yeah, at times. Yeah, at times. I mean, I wasn't on the highway all the time. I mean, I rode it back and forth to work for like a long time, probably a good 6 to 8 years straight. And then I would go on long rides here and there, but I never really took any out of town rides for the most part. But I rode up and down the mountain and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it was cool. I miss it all the time still. But yeah, I just thought this was all. Get one with the tall ass handlebars. Yeah, some. A lot of people would think that'd be what I would be riding, considering how I look. As bad as I want to watch this episode, my daughter's actually here and hasn't been here for a minute. It's okay. Oh yeah, it's all good, Infinity, no problem. Enjoy your time with the fam. But yeah, so Sean Strickland, that's really all there is to it, man. I was just wanted to cover it because I just thought it was ridiculous that he was so upset and appalled by the event when that's kind of what he's about. So yeah, it was weird. Anyway, moving on. Usyk versus Rico Verhoeven. This was just to kind of touch on it for a minute, this was a controversial one. It made it to the 11th round, actually made it through the 11th round, and it seemed like Verhoeven was up. As far as everyone, it was bullshit. Yeah. As far as everyone was concerned, Rico was up on the scorecards, even though the scorecards didn't show that. At the best, they showed that they were tied going into the 12th or some shit like that. Or I don't even remember at this point. But basically, the fight got called off even after the bell, which was ridiculous. Rico was doing well. Of course, Usyk came back a little bit and started putting it on Rico. But yeah, tied on 2 cards. He was up on 1. That's right. He was up on one of the scorecards. So, but yeah, this is kind of what happens. That's a good point, Anton. That's kind of something I wanted to talk about too, was the fact that, Ngannou versus Fury, a lot of people thought Ngannou won that fight, especially with the knockdown and with the way that fight went. But this is something a lot of people are talking about, is the corruption in boxing. And that's the way it's been for a long time. And that's a lot of the reason why, I don't get into boxing so much, because already we have enough bullshit that happens in MMA. But for me, MMA is more about stupidity and people just being dumb fucks as it is, instead of being the corruption that you see in boxing. In boxing, it's like they don't want to see anybody from outside of boxing come in and beat one of the best, one of the big names. They don't want to see any of that. And that's why, Conor did his thing. I don't think he won that fight, really. He did well for a little bit, but everyone just says that Mayweather carried him. I understand why they say that, but at the same time, they're not willing to give Conor any credit whatsoever. But Conor looked kind of bad in that fight too, with some of the ways that he was punching and all that. But either way, he did well, and he did okay, honestly. And then Ngannou and Fury, that whole thing. Sure, Ngannou came back, got knocked the fuck out by Joshua, but he did well in that fight against Fury. Whether Fury underestimated him or didn't take him seriously or whatever, that's what happened. And I think Ngannou probably edged that one out. And then this one with Verhoeven's beating the shit out of Usyk throughout the entire fight. I did watch it live, yes, of course, because that was one of the craziest ones ever. And it was crazy watching it, that whole, just watching it as it went down. The way that Conor carried himself and talked mad shit to everybody was insane. But yeah, Rico was just, he was winning the whole entire fight. Like, even Brandon Schaub was like, it's hard to find 2 or 3 rounds, like more than 3 rounds that Usyk won. And so, even though I don't think it was maybe that far of a reach, like, to say that, I don't know that. I think it was pretty close nearing the end of the fight like that. I just think it would have been better if they would have let it go to the 12th round. And everyone's saying, oh, well, if it would have gone there, Usyk would have knocked him out, or he would have done the same thing anyway. But I would have loved to have seen if that was the case. And that's the problem, is they didn't let it go. And, it was, a stupid stoppage anyway. You know, they're saying he was out on his feet, but sure, he looked a little stunned, but they've let fights go on longer for, you know, lesser reasons. So it's just a dumbass way to have that go out. The backdrop was dope though. It was in Egypt, you know, with the pyramids in the back and stuff like that. It was kind of cool, and a lot of the stuff I saw coming from that was pretty cool to watch, honestly. And yeah, it just sucked the way that went down, and we'll see if maybe they get a rematch in there or something like that. And if Usyk was taking him lightly, or, you know, just didn't train as hard or something like that, then we'll see in the rematch. He should run away with the rematch if they do it, but we'll see. That's what kind of makes it interesting, I guess. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that one real quick because there was so much going on with that, because that was one of the biggest things that happened over that time. Who do you think is cooler concept, fighting in front of the pyramids or the White House? I think they're both unique and like good concepts on both parts, honestly. Just because I never thought I'd see either one happen. Like the whole pyramids thing kind of threw me off. I didn't even know that was happening that way until, you know, I started seeing all the pictures from it, which is crazy. Never thought we'd see something at the White House either. I think the pyramid thing, I've always heard crazy stuff about the pyramids, and like when you go there as a tourist and the people that try to you know, kind of scam you and do this and do that while you're there. So I thought that was kind of crazy that was happening there. But the White House, you know, that's like full, like hardcore security and all that. Historical, man. Yeah. There's a lot of big things like that happening this year, man. So it's kind of crazy, it's, you know, happening in combat sports. I think it was pretty fitting for boxing to happen like that in front of the pyramids. I think it'd be cool to have MMA in front of them too. That'd be dope. But yeah, MMA at the White House is nuts too. So all of it's crazy, man. Never expected any of this to happen. So but now that it's happening, I guess we just sit back and watch. So we'll see how this White House card, it's coming up, man, just over 2 weeks, and it's gonna be here, so should be interesting. But before we get to this week's UFC fight night, we got RAF 8 happening this weekend as well. The debut on Real American Freestyle Wrestling is making his debut is Gable Steveson fighting Romanov. Not fighting, wrestling. I gotta, well, because Gable's signed to the UFC now too. So did you react to Colby's retirement? No, I didn't. I did not react to Colby's retirement, and I was just gonna talk about it here because Colby is wrestling Chris Weidman, which is interesting. I mean, I feel like that's a pretty good matchup between those two. Weidman's a little bit bigger than Colby, but I think it's a pretty good matchup, honestly. As far as Colby retiring, good riddance. I never liked Colby. I know a lot of people say that he's a nice guy and he's just playing the act or whatever, but I'm just saying, after you act like that for so long, and the way that he backtracked on it, it's like, bro, just stick with it, or fucking, I don't know. But I just never liked his little act or his spiel. And him as a fighter, I respect the things that he did while he was you know, doing well. But as far as what he's done recently, hasn't been much. So I just say, hey, you know, go do what you're good at, and you're good at wrestling, so go do that. And now we just got to hear him, you know, be outspoken for a RAF, which is fine. Do you think Prime Colby's a top 15 welterweight of all time? No, I don't, but that's just my opinion. I'm sure a lot of people would. Do you think Colby will make the Hall of Fame for any of his fights? Probably not. Probably not. Maybe the one where he got his jaw broken against Usman, but probably not. Colby wasn't. You know, he did well for a little while, but it's not like he had a generational run or anything like that. Like, sure, he was an interim champion for a moment against when he beat Dos Anjos, but yeah, it's just whatever, man. I don't know. I think that Colby was good for a while. That was really it. And yeah, sure, he got even if it was an interim belt, he got a belt. So, you know, it's good for that. But other than that, I don't know. I just don't think he put together. I don't think his entire career is. But that's just me. I'm biased because I don't really like the dude that much. Chris Weidman, though, new Hall of Famer, just being inducted this year. He definitely deserves that one. Also, we got Merab versus Frankie Edgar, which is interesting as well. That seems like that would have been a dope ass matchup in MMA when Edgar was in his prime versus Merab. But we'll see how they do in wrestling. So that should be interesting. And then you also got Armin, who seems to be in every RAF event lately. He's fighting Muggsy, which, I mean, a lot of people know who he is. I really don't. But we'll see how that goes. Weird to see Armin all the way down at the bottom. He's usually headlining, co-headlining, or somewhere at the top. And he's kind of pushed down at the bottom. So, yep, I respect. I sees a lot, to be honest. So many people never fight for a title, period. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, obviously it's not like the undisputed, but shit, you're still a champ and you get paid champ wages. So, I mean, and you got to make the weight to keep that belt. So that's a lot of hard work. So I definitely respect that. But yeah, that's RAF 8 happening, or is it 9 or 8? It is 8, right? Yeah, I think it is. Let me double check. Oh, maybe it is 9. It is 9. I'm saying RAF 8 over here. It's actually 9. Whoops. Yeah, so it's RAF 9. I don't know why I didn't see that in that picture. That's what caught my attention. Yeah, it's Fox Nations actually, so it's not Fox Sports. But so you have to, I think you have to have a subscription to watch it, which is weird. But yeah, I don't really watch any of the RAF cards. I just catch the highlights and stuff after, because yeah, it's one of those things. I don't need another subscription to something that I'm only watching it for one thing. Free on YouTube outside of America. Oh damn. See, Tyler, you get some of it. Will you watch the next do for boxing? We'll see. We'll see what's going on that day. I usually try to catch some of it at least. But all right, well, let's get to the UFC, because we are finally back after a week off from the UFC as well. Only because Fox Nation is exclusive to America. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so we get to UFC Macau happening on Saturday. 4,000 subscriptions nowadays, man. For what? For, oh yeah, for everything. Yeah, pretty much. I think that's what you're saying. Yeah, it's ridiculous at this point. We're pretty much paying what we were paying for cable back in the day, except now you can pick and choose what you want to see, I guess. So instead of waiting for it to come out, I guess that's the upside. I don't know. You can watch it whenever you want instead of waiting around for it to come out. Yeah, I don't know. Big E need a translator, man. For what? Oh, you talking about the poster? Oh yeah. They got it both there. You know what I mean? It says Song and Figueiredo and Menefield, Zhang. It's all there. But yeah, I couldn't find a regular poster. It was kind of weird. I found the vertical ones. I should have probably just used that one, but I thought this one was kind of cool. Their posters are just lackluster at best these days anyway. But I thought this one was cool, just with the, you know, with the writing and stuff. But yeah, we got Deiveson Figueiredo versus Song Yadong happening in the main event for UFC Macau, and then Zhang Ming Yang versus Alonzo Menefield in the co-main event. So that's, I mean, those are decent fights. You know, Menefield and Zhang. Yes, Antoine, actually, good time to bring that up. I am definitely gonna stream for the main card of this fight. So Just the main card though. I'm not gonna do the prelims. As far as the prelims go, I usually just catch up on those, you know, when I wake up. I'll probably wake up at like 3:30 and just come into the room and get started, get things set up, and then start at 4. But when the main card starts, I mean, I usually only stream the main cards anyway. But yeah, I definitely plan on doing that. So finally back, and we're gonna do extra stuff. You know, we got the show tonight. We're gonna be live on Saturday morning early. I'm not getting up for this shit, not gonna lie. I understand, Tyler. I understand completely. I'm interested in some of these fights. It's not the best card ever, but you know, I like doing the watch parties when they're early like this. So I'm gonna get up and check it out and stream it. So don't forget to come here when I'm live. It'll be 4 a.m. my time. You can Google UFC events and it'll tell you what time it's on for you for the main card. And I will be live here. So just make sure you are subscribed and hit that notification bell so you know when I go live. And yeah, because we're all in different time zones, right? Most of us are. That's 1 a.m. for you, right? No, it's for me, it's the main card starts at 4 a.m. The prelim card starts at 1, yes. So the prelim card starts at 1 a.m. Yeah. So I will when the card is over, do you roll on with your day or sleep? Last time I went and slept on the couch for a little bit. So yeah, I'll usually sleep a little bit and then I'll just keep, you know, because by the time it's over, people, I mean, my wife and daughter might not even be up yet. So my daughter has to work on Saturday though, so she will probably be up, but yeah, I'm gonna stream it and then I'll probably just I got up for protest, but I don't know, I feel like this fight might be ass. Yeah, I understand, Tyler. I'm just doing it because, well, I took a week off and now I'm just wanting to be here and doing all this, so I'm gonna do it and we'll see if it's worth it or not. It's always worth it to me though, just to be able to talk fights and watch them live is fun. So if anybody wants to join in, please do, and if not, maybe check it out later. I don't know, whatever you want to do. But while you're all here right now, please make sure you hit that like button before the show's over, or if you're watching this later, still drop a like in there. That helps the channel. I'd appreciate it. And we had some good momentum going before I had to take off for the week, but hopefully we regain all that and you know, it just keeps growing. That'd be awesome. So anyway, let's get to these fights, and we'll start off with the main card and we'll go from the bottom to the top as we have been doing. And we'll start off with the first fight on the main card, which is Alex Perez versus Sumadarji, happening first fight of the night on the main card in the flyweight division. We got Alex Perez at 26-10 overall, 8-6 in UFC. He's coming off a win. Look at 12 wins by decision. Damn. We all watched Zhang lose to 2 leg kicks from Johnny Walker. True. That's actually a good point. I actually meant to go back. I'm screwed now, but I meant to go back and change some of my picks, and that was one of them. I kind of forgot about Alonzo Menefield and the fact that is what happened. Yo, what's up, Christian? Welcome in, brother. Yeah, I kind of forgot about that happening to Zhang against Johnny Walker, and I feel like Menefield with those tree trunks for legs is going to beat the crap out of his legs. So yeah, that's going to be a bad pick for me right away, but it is what it is. Sumadarji's on a 3-fight win streak. Look at that stat right there. KO, TKO, 13-0 for Sumadarji, which is insane. 1-6 by sub though. Not great there. And then 5-1 by decision. So Perez hasn't beat in 2 categories there, in the submission category and the decision category, but Sumadarji runs away with the KO TKOs. Never been stopped on the feet. He's 6-4 in the UFC though, so kind of iffy record there. Let's look at Alex Perez. He's coming off a win after some losses, and let me see. he beat Charles Johnson by TKO in the first round. He had a weight issue in that last fight, so we'll see if he makes weight here. Before that, he was on a 2-fight losing streak, where he lost to Tatsuro Taira and Asu Amabayev. He only had 1 win out of like 5 fights before this last win. So Sumadarji has been on a decent win streak with the winning 3 in a row. And he's got these wins over Mitch Raposo, Kevin Borjas, and Jesus Aguilar. All decision wins, though. And that seems to be how Alex Perez wins a lot more fights by decision. So if it gets there, you know, Perez has the upper hand on that one. But you never know when it goes to decision. We got to see how the fight plays out. But if Sumadarji gets his way, he'll have to bounce back with a TKO win with all the other TKO wins he's had in his career. Hasn't had a lot of them in the UFC though. Looks like he's only had 1. He was on a 3-fight losing streak, lost 2 by submission and 1 by decision before he went on this 3-fight win streak. So this is kind of back and forth and a bit of an iffy fight as to who's gonna win, but should be fairly decent. I think Perez, you know, he's got pretty legit wrestling and good with the calf kicks, and I think he's got some decent power as well. You know, he's been plagued with some injuries during a lot of those fights that he was losing, and you know, but he got that first round finish against Charles Johnson in his last fight. So, you know, is he going to stay consistent with the wins, or is he going to go back to the losing column and have trouble with Sumadarji? But, you know, like I said, Sumadarji's on the 3-fight win streak, and, you know, he's kind of been a little more calculated in some of his wins recently. He's got a reach advantage, and, you know, he's good with those straight punches, as you see in that picture below. And he's got some, you know, he's got some decent, you know, clean shots that he lands and do damage. So, oh, right on, Antoine. Here you go.
Weed every day.
So yeah, I feel like, you know, this is going to be a decent fight. It could go back and forth, and it's a little bit of a toss-up as to, you know, who might get the win here. But with all the losses that Perez has suffered in his last few fights, and with Sumadarji being on this win streak, I'm leaning a little more towards Sumadarji. But, you know, Perez has that power, and he can mix it up well. So it could be tough for him, but should be an interesting fight to get the card started off. And that leads us to the next fight, which is Jake Matthews versus Carlston Harris. And yeah, Jake Matthews, one of those guys too. He's kind of iffy back and forth with stuff. He's coming off a loss, 15-8 in the UFC, 5-1 by KO TKO, 9-4 by sub, 8-3 by decision. Harris is 4-3 in the UFC, 5-4 by KO TKO. He's never lost by sub. He's got 6 wins there, and then 8-3 by decision as well. He's on a 2-fight losing streak. So we got Jake Matthews is, yeah, he's just one of those guys that he's been in the UFC for a while, as you can see with the 15-8 record. He's only 31, but you know, he's kind of one of those guys that just grinds his way to a win, or, you know, survives and, you know, with losses and stuff like that. But I don't even know, man. Like, when I hear Jake Matthews, I don't think about what he does best. I just think about the fact that it's like, well, you never know. I don't want to bet on him because you never know what's going to happen with him. He's got, you know, decent grappling, solid boxing, and you know, I think he was on a decent win streak before he lost his last fight. Let's see. Yeah, he lost to Neil Magny by Dar's choke. So that was a submission loss for him there. He was on a 3-fight win streak before that. He beat Phil Rowe, Francisco Prado, both by decision, and then submitted Chidi Njokuani by rear naked choke in the first round. So he was on a decent win streak. It looks like he's kind of been on a win-loss, and then won a few, lost one. If he stays on that kind of streak, he never really loses 2 in a row. Hasn't since 2016. So that's something to look at, because obviously he won 3 in a row, lost 1, and now he could be back here to win again. And that's what kind of makes it difficult to decide on who you think is going to win this fight. Carlston Harris, like I said, never been submitted. Why is Glover boxing Shogun? What the fuck? I don't know. Where's that happening at? I didn't hear about that. Carlston Harris on a 2-fight losing streak, both by TKO, both one in the first round, one in the third. Chaos Williams, he lost in the first round, and Santiago Ponzinibbio was his last fight. He lost in the third round. So Jake Matthews has decent enough power to catch Harris and beat him that way, like he's been beat in his last 2 fights. Before that, he was on a 2-fight win streak. A decision win over Jared Gordon and a submission win over Jeremiah Wells by Anaconda choke, and he got a performance of the night bonus on that one. But Jake Matthews first round KO, that makes sense to I think being that Harris was lost by TKO in his last couple of fights, I definitely think that that's a good possibility. So I think Matthews, you know, he's more active, he's younger, and he probably has better cardio. Harris is 38 years old and hasn't fought since 2025. That was January of 25. So it's been a minute since he's fought. And you know, it's never good when somebody's been off that long, especially coming off of a few losses. Maybe he worked on some shit while he was out, but I think Jake Matthews is probably gonna take this one. So that brings us over to Kai Asakura versus Cameron Smotherman. This is an interesting fight. I mean, we all know about the hype around Kai Asakura when he came into the UFC. He gets his first fight against Pantoja for the title, and that, while that's a tough, you know, that's a tough thing to happen coming into the UFC, he was, you know, hyped up a lot before coming in, just because of everything he had done outside. Smotherman round 1 KO. Damn. No faith in Kai Asakura. But yeah, they're both on 2-fight losing streaks, so you know, someone's gonna break that losing streak. Fighting each other, they're both gonna get one of them's gonna get a win out of this, unless we go to a draw. That would be a damn shame, but they both suck. Man, Kai was so good outside of the UFC. It's a damn shame. You know, he was in Ryzen, he was the bantamweight champion. A lot of hype coming into the UFC, and yeah, you know, loses to Pantoja, and then loses to Tim Elliott by submission. He lost to Pantoja by submission as well. As you see, Smotherman is only 1-0 by sub, and Smotherman lost to low-level guys. Kai only lost to 2 ranked guys. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Let's see who Smotherman. Well, 0-2 for Asakura, 1-2 for Smotherman in the UFC, 13-3 for Asakura with KO TKO, 6-2 for Smotherman. We talked about subs, and then 5-1 by decision for Kai, 5-4 for Cameron, both on 2-fight losing streaks. Smotherman lost to who? Surrey, and yeah, that's what I was looking at right now. Surrey today and Ricky Simone, both by decision. I changed my pick. Did Kai hurt the credibility of all rising champions to come? No, I don't think so. But I mean, everyone knows that when you come into the UFC, whether you were a champion outside of the UFC or not, the level of competition is just different in the UFC. You know, you can think whatever you want that other people outside of the UFC. Patchy Mix was worse than Kai. Patchy Mix was the worst. He gave a bad name to everybody outside the UFC. But you know, I just think that the level of competition in the UFC is the reason why these guys have trouble, because while they're fighting high level competition outside, it's just not as high as the UFC. There's something different. There's something different about the UFC and the other organizations. Kai is worse than Patchy, and he lost again in Ryzen now to some random. Oh yeah, that's true. People forget, man. Patchy makes us a great DJ name. Yeah, Patchy just continues to look bad, and that's a damn shame for him. His career has just kind of gone downhill. He's not like Robelis to Spain, who came in hyped up, overhyped, and then looked like shit, and then left the UFC and just continued being, just continued on that streak of doing well outside of the UFC. Just can't do it in the UFC. But yeah, as far as Kai and Smotherman, Tatiana swears. That's true. Yeah, I mean, Kai fought, obviously the champion at the moment, and then a vet, in Tim Elliott, who, yeah, I mean, he's good enough to beat somebody like Kai, but you would think with the way that Kai Asakura was fighting outside the UFC that he would have a lot more for these guys in the UFC, but he's cutting down to flyweight, and it's just not doing well for him. I feel like he should maybe go back up a weight class, see if that helps him out a little bit or whatever. But I mean, maybe they are they fighting at bantamweight this one? I guess maybe they are. Oh yeah, they are fighting at bantamweight. Okay, good. Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought Smotherman was a bantamweight, so that's good. Maybe he does better in the higher weight class, because he was fighting in flyweight. He came in and fought in flyweight, and it just wasn't good for him. Yeah, he did move up. That's right. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think with Asakura moving up, I think he'll have the energy to do some of these high level strikes that he was doing outside of the UFC, but I don't know. This is the time. He's 0-2. If he makes a splash here with a big win over Cameron Smotherman, then that at least puts him in line to get another opponent that he could possibly do even better against, and then work his way up the level of competition in the UFC. But as of right now, 0-2 is not good. And there's no reason why he shouldn't be able to beat Cameron Smotherman, but Smotherman's the guy that had the issues with cutting weight the last time, where he passed out face first as he was walking off the scale. Cancel his fight. You think Robelis should have gotten another chance? Hell no. He looked like shit in the UFC. So if he ever gets another chance, he needs to just put together some craziness outside of the UFC. In MMA though, that's the thing. He's been fighting karate combat, and he only fought that one for the MVP MMA card. He only fought that one MMA fight against Dos Santos, and well, we saw how that went, but it's not like that was it wasn't the best opponent. He should stick to karate combat. Yeah, probably. Thoughts on TJ Dillashaw's explanation as to why Hamzat lost? He's coping, man. That's really all there is to it. That's how TJ Dillashaw is, you know what I'm saying? Like he said the same kind of, like, there was always some kind of excuse when he was losing, and just because he's been a part of Hamzat's camp, or is, I don't know, whatever his deal is with Hamzat, I just think he's coping, man. That's just how TJ just yeah, it's a little bit weird, the things that he was saying and how he presented it or whatever, but I don't know, that it was kind of one of those things with TJ Dillashaw that I never liked. It was like the explanations of why he lost and why this happened and why that happened. It was just always kind of like, what are you talking about, dude? So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about that one. But yeah, overall, maybe this might not be the best fight, or maybe because they're both hungry to get a fucking win, we might get a banger of a fight. You never know. I'm hoping for the best. So let's move on to the heavyweight. Oh shit, here's one of the ones that just doesn't want to work, and I don't know why. There we go. Sergey Pavlovich versus Tellison Teixeira. Yeah, this one is interesting because, I mean, it might not last long, but we know that last fight with Tellison Teixeira was against Tai Tuivasa. You know, he got the win, but it was ugly. They both looked like absolute dog shit. They tried to swing and bang it out, but they both got super tired. And you know, I don't know that Pavlovich is gonna engage in that kind of a fight with Teixeira. So, you know, but you never know, because I feel like Pavlovich is more experienced. He's more tactical, and you know, and he's got a lot of power. Pavlovich should beat his ass. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I kind of think so as well. But on the other side, on the flip side, it's like, if we look at Pavlovich, he lost to Volkov, lost to Aspinall. He beat Waldo Cortez Acosta and Jairzinho Rosenstruck in his last 2 fights. He hasn't fought since 25. In August of 25 was his last fight. He's on a 2-fight win streak. Before that, he was on a 2-fight losing streak. And then before that, he was on a big win streak. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights, with 4 of those having bonuses, and all of them being TKO wins. So yeah, look at those. 15-2 by KO TKO. No wins or losses in the submission column. 5-1 by decision. Like I said, he's on a 2-fight win streak. 8-3. Tellison Teixeira's, you know, got the 1 loss against Derek Lewis. He's 7-1 by KO TKO, 1-0 by sub, 1-0 by decision. And notice how Ty is still here with 7 consecutive losses. I'm glad, though. He's been here for so long. Yeah, I mean, it's tough, man. I don't want to see him just get dropped, but at the same time, 7 in a row is insane. But yeah, Tellison wasn't the best fight ever for him in that last one, but he's definitely has the possibility of knocking someone out quickly. But I think Pavlovich, like I said, he's more technical, he's more tactical, he's got a lot of experience, and he's got some good power. Teixeira is so fucking tall at 6'7". But Pavlovich is 6'3", 84-inch reach. Let's see what Teixeira's reach is. I think 83. That's weird. So Pavlovich actually has the reach advantage, which is weird. But Teixeira is just Teixeira lost to Derek Lewis and barely beat Tai Tuivasa, who lost to some absolute bum in his last fight. Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm sure Pavlovich has got this one, but let's see. I don't know. I feel like if he engages with Teixeira, then he's got a problem, because Teixeira's, you know, got a weird way of landing some big punches, but Pavlovich can land, you know, big power of his own. So it's one of those weird kind of matchups where you got the veteran, like, technical fighter versus the, you know, somewhat newer to the UFC fighter who is younger but is reckless. And those kind of fighters are always dangerous, because you never know what they might land in the mix of a back and forth, you know, or in the mix of maybe some counter punches if Pavlovich tries to move in on him and press forward, you know, unless Pavlovich is going to try to counter on his own and wait for Tellison to get reckless. So I mean, I feel like Pavlovich will probably win this one, but I think there's a chance Tellison Teixeira gets, you know, the reckless punch to land and you know, is able to drop Pavlovich. So Teixeira is obviously more dangerous early on in the fight, because, you know, he's explosive, and that's when he starts getting after it early. But then he'll, you know, if Pavlovich can survive all that, he will definitely take over, because Teixeira's just cardio is not great. So Teixeira throws, you know, hard knees and elbows and straight shots from weird angles. So, but you know, Pavlovich has fought high level competition, and usually, you know, he usually punishes people for mistakes that they make, and he does it in brutal fashion. So there's a good way for both these guys to win, but I think Pavlovich is probably going to be the one that comes out the winner in this, especially if it goes later in the rounds. Teixeira is going to gas. So let's move on to another big man fight. Oh, see, now this is okay. Here we go. I don't know what's happening here. There it is. Light heavyweight, Ming Yang Zhang. What did Pavlovich call himself? What do you mean, like his nickname? I don't think he has one. Yeah, I don't think he has one. I just don't get why he's fighting Pavlovich. It won't let me say it. I don't see anything for nickname in Tapology, so I don't know. Oh, 260 pounds of oh, did he say that? I don't recall him saying that. Anyway, Tyler, you always know these off the wall ones, man. Anyway, Zhang Ming Yang Zhang, whichever way you want to say it, versus Alonzo Benefield. Oh man, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. Another, you know, big man fight here, light heavyweights. Like I said earlier, you know, I forgot about Zhang getting stopped by Johnny Walker with the leg kicks. That was bad. I forgot about that. And with Alonzo Benefield, like I said, he's got tree trunks for legs, and if he uses those correctly, man, it might be a bad time for Zhang. But other than that, I mean, Benefield's never been subbed. Neither has Zhang, but Zhang's only got 1 win there. Benefield's got 4 wins by sub. 13-2 by KO TKO for Zhang. 9-4 for Benefield. Oh yeah, that's actually I thought about that earlier, Antoine. So I might have to do that, because I'm not congested, but I just have all this like scratchy feeling in my sinuses and stuff. So maybe if I just clear myself out, man, that might have to be something I do. So thanks for the reminder. I thought of it earlier, but I hadn't thought of it recently, so I will probably have to hit that up with the shower tonight for sure. But yeah, Benefield 10-6 in UFC. Zhang's 5-3. 2-2 by decision for Zhang. 4-2 by decision for Benefield. They're both coming off a loss. The biggest number there is that 13 wins by KO TKO for Zhang. But Benefield's got more wins and more fights overall in the UFC. And we'll see. Zhang is coming out that loss to Johnny Walker in the second round. Oh shit, I messed up his record. It's actually 3-1. Where did I get 5-3 from? No, actually I have some. The last time I bought some, I bought a big pack of them on Amazon, and I still have a bunch because my daughter was sick the last time, not too long ago, and I know she was using some, but we still have some. So luckily I'm prepared. But yeah, I did mess up Zhang's record there. He's actually 3-1, not 5-3. So I don't know where I got that from, but oh, well, it looks like I messed up a bunch of... Okay, what did I do here? I got all kinds of stuff. I'm obviously rusty because okay, I got all of Benefield stuff correct. I'm obviously rusty because I've been out for over a week, but it is what it is. Those don't matter as much as just talking about the actual matchup. If Zhang was out, into Minecraft, he would look exactly the same. What the hell? Oh man. Well, I mean, I feel like this has potential to be a pretty good fight, honestly, because of the fact that both these guys will, you know, like to get after it on the feet, as we saw. Ming Yang does have 13 wins by KO TKO, and he's 0-1 by decision and 6-2 by sub. So but yeah, I think Menefield, you know, we watched him get a loss in his last fight, but we've seen some big wins coming from him as well. He lost his last fight to Ozdemir by TKO. He hasn't fought since November of 2025, but he had 2 decent wins before that against Julius Walker and Omar Sy. Julius Walker, he had a fight of the night bonus against, and he won both of those by decision. But he's been on a lose 2, win 2, and then now he's lost 1. Menefield is a technical wizard. No, Menefield is just he just throws shit. I like the emojis you use there though. But I don't know. I feel like these two are gonna go at it quickly, and they're gonna get aggressive early. Menefield, you know, he is reckless as hell, and I think that's what Tyler Fish was getting at. But you know, for somebody like Zhang, who can be a bit more technical, this might be his time to be able to, you know, catch Menefield in the middle of a chaotic, you know, back and forth exchange. But with the way that Ming Yang lost to Johnny Walker, if Menefield is smart, he will use those leg kicks and use those big ass legs of his to chop down those legs of Ming Yang and really, you know, break him down that way. But again, is he gonna just start, you know, getting into a crazy firefight, or is he gonna be technical? I don't know. More than likely the first one. But you know, he is dangerous early, as most of these heavier guys are. You know, he won his last 2 fights by decision, so he can make it through the rounds. But do you think Alonso can be in his prime at his age in light heavyweight? How old is he? He's 38. Fuck, man, that's tough. He could be a heavyweight, might be. I don't know. He might be, because I mean, he's only 6 foot. So I don't know. He might be a little undersized for heavyweight, because you know, some of the guys that are like under 220 in the heavyweight division, or right around 220, just don't seem to do as well. Like the bigger guys just take, you know, 40 pounds is crazy. So it's difficult for the guys that are like small, on the smaller side in heavyweight. But we'll see. We'll see how he does against Zhang. I think he has a chance, you know, to catch Zhang, or like I said, work on those legs. But you know, for the most part, I think Zhang might have the upper hand here. Just going off of what he's done in the past. It's just that last fight that really has me kind of wondering what he's gonna do. He was on a huge win streak outside of the UFC coming into the UFC. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 wins in a row, and then he lost his last fight. So like, how is he gonna bounce back after not having lost in a while and then finally catching a loss? He had 3 bonuses in a row before he got that loss to Johnny Walker. So all TKO wins as well, and all in the first round. So I think the first round's going to be a crazy one, and then we'll see what happens after that. But we might get a finish in the first round between both of these guys, which should make it interesting, leading us into the main event. And that brings us to Song Yadong versus Deiveson Figueiredo. Figgy, former champion in the flyweight division. Yeah, I didn't realize he was 30. I thought he was like 35 34, 36. I didn't know he was 38. I was like, damn. But yeah, I think this is tough because I like Figgy is just one of those guys that you expect the most out of him, and you know, he just hasn't been that high level the way that he was before. He seemed to have an issue with his weight in the last fight against Umar. He lost by decision. He beat Montel Jackson before that by split decision, and then he had 2 losses in a row. He lost that fight to Corey Sandhagen by knee, because of the knee injury, and then he lost to Piotr Jan. So his only win in his past few fights has been 1 decision win, and it was a split decision to Montel Jackson. So it's tough, man. I think Song Yadong is one of those guys that could definitely come out on top in a fight like this, but like, can Deiveson Figueiredo's being a vet and all the experience he has, can he like shut down Song Yadong and find a way to keep him at bay, or can Song just come out and kind of take over and beat Figgy like everyone else has recently? That's the biggest question. Song Yadong lost to Sean O'Malley in his last fight, and that was in January of this year. He's been on a win-loss streak. He beat Henry Cejudo, lost to Piotr Jan, and then beat Chris Gutierrez and Ricky Simone before that. He also lost to Corey Sandhagen by Dr. Stoppage. He's only had 1 bonus in the mix of all that against Ricky Simone. Yeah, I just feel like Song is the favorite in this one, but a lot of it is based on age, the speed advantage. He throws a lot more volume. Do you consider Deiveson a legend? I think, yeah, he's like on the cusp, you know what I mean? Because all those fights and being a champion and stuff like that for a while, but it was just all those battles with Brandon Moreno. I think Moreno's a step ahead of him, but a step above him, kinda. But at the same time, I don't know, man. It's tough. It's one of those weird situations where, even in the best of times for him, was still a weird situation. So, but I do think he was a pretty great fighter when he was like really in his prime. But yeah, I think Song has fought enough guys that are elite competition, being that he's fought Piotr Jan, Henry Cejudo, Corey Sandhagen, Sean O'Malley. I feel like because he's had that kind of experience, he should be able to hang with Figgy, but at the same time, he might just overtake him because Figgy just hasn't done that well in this weight class. He moves up and just doesn't seem to be doing that great. So, I mean, he's still a dangerous guy, but he's got power, he's got a good submission game, but he just doesn't seem to be putting the wins together. So, yeah, it's kind of tough, man. I feel like I want to give Figgy the benefit of the doubt and say that his experience and stuff like that is going to carry him, but with Song Yadong, he's just so fast. He's got power. He throws a lot more volume, and I think if he just stays away from the counters and is able to survive like the scrambles and stuff like that, and the submission threats, I think he could outpace Figgy and get the win here. He just has to stay disciplined and kind of keep that kickboxing range and just outwork him. I think he has the potential to be able to do that. But Figgy, if he can get in on Song and take that range away from him, use his wrestling and grappling and get him to the ground, and then work the positions and get him into a submission, I think his best route is to get him down and submit him. So who knows though, we might get a decision win out of this one. They both go to decision quite a bit as well. As you can see, Song Yadong is 10-6 by decision. So Yeah, it's a tough one to call, but I think it's leaning way more in the way of Song Yadong, just by the way that Figgy's been fighting in this division and recently. So I think I'd be willing to say Song's gonna edge this one out, if not just completely get a finish. So we'll see. Let's get to the prelims real quick. We got Tsuruya, or I'm sorry, Luke Boonmi versus Amarim, which Jacqueline Amarim, go check out her Instagram. I promise you will not be let down. You think Song will ever fight for a belt? I think he has potential to, yeah. I just don't know, will he actually do it? I'm not sure. I think if he puts together a few wins, he'll have a chance. It'd be sad if he didn't, seeing how he was 19 when he arrived. Yeah. So yeah, Luma Luke Boonmi 10-4 against Jacqueline Amarim 10-2. Kind of striker versus grappler matchup. Luke Boonmi's more of a Muay Thai striker. She's got good body kicks and clinch work. Amarim's aggressive with the submissions, high level jiu-jitsu. So you know, Amarim's going to be looking to get those takedowns and work her way into a submission, because the longer it stays on the feet, Luke Boonmi is going to take advantage with those Muay Thai skills and try to finish her on the feet. But yeah, Amarim is my favorite in this one for more than one reason, but she is the slight favorite in the odds as well, -125. Next we got Zhu Kangji, 21-4 over Rodrigo Vera, who's 21-1. Let's see. I don't know much about these guys, to be honest with you. I think he's Kangji's one of the guys from Road to the UFC, I think. But yeah, tough. I think Vera is, yeah, he's making his debut in this one. He's never been finished. He's only lost one fight by decision. So he's coming off a pretty good win streak. He was a champion outside of the UFC, fought in LFA. His last 3 wins had come off of decision though. And then Kangji is coming from one championship, huh? Yeah, he was on Road to the UFC, where he got wins by decision in both of those fights that he fought there. He's on a win streak of his own, mixes of TKOs and decisions. So yeah, we'll see what this kind of fight. I mean, they're both technically making their debut in the UFC. So should be an interesting one at the what is that, featherweight division. Next up, Angela Hill, 18-16 is her record. Holy shit. Against 19-2 Jingnan Zhang Jingnan, I think. Holy shit. She's coming from one championship where she was actually a multiple time champion. She fought Angela Lee a few times, won and lost to her. And it looks like she defended a title quite a bit. So definitely has some experience there. 19-2 overall. Angela Hill 18-16. Angela Hill is one of those girls though that no matter what you've done in the past, she's gonna make it a tough fight for you. A lot of decisions for Angela Hill. 12-14 by decision, which is insane. She actually has a losing record by decision. She's on a 2-fight losing streak. She lost her last 2 by decision to Yasmin Lucindo and Fatima Klein. In her last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fights, she's 3-4. And only one of those have been a finish, which was a win by submission. She got a thoughts on Angela Hill's grandparents, Maine? Oh yeah, they were one of the first ones to talk about alien encounters, which is kind of crazy. I like the story, that's for sure. It's interesting. What's going on, girls? Great to see everyone in UFC. Today is my 35th birthday. Have a great time until strike to midnight. Oh shit. Well, happy birthday. Welcome in. Appreciate you for checking out the show. Happy birthday. I hope it's a good one for you. And yeah, cheers. Here's to you. Your birthday. That was the last little sip of my drink, but you got it for the cheers. Appreciate you for jumping in. Yeah, Angela Hill's one of those tough ones that everyone tries to get past. But Jing Nang was a legit champion in one championship, as we know, like I was saying before. And she's pretty strong, and this is just one of those tests that if she passes, she's gonna get some better competition in the UFC. As far as Angela Hill, though, she's one of those girls that just holds it down. She's a gatekeeper, and it's so difficult to beat her, but at the same time she gets beat a lot. Sounds weird, but that's really how it goes. So if Jingnan can get in here and get a win over Angela Hill right away, that'll look good for her in her UFC debut. Otherwise, Angela Hill just keeps rolling as that gatekeeper. So, damn, 27. Shit. I wish I was still 27. But yeah, next up we got Rai Suruya versus Luis Gurul. Suruya has been doing pretty decent. He's 10-1 overall, 11-3 for Gurul. And as far as Suruya, he's 1-1 in the UFC. He's coming off a loss to Joshua Van, which is that's the current champ. So that was in March of 2025. Before that, that's his only loss, actually. So before that, he was on a big win streak. He was on the road to the UFC as well, where he went undefeated there. And it's got a mix of submissions, TKOs, and decisions, going up against Gurul, who just fought recently, I think. He's 1-3 in the UFC. He got his first UFC win back in May. He fought earlier this month. What the hell? Against Daniel Perez, and got a decision win. Before that, he was on a 3-fight losing streak. So he finally got that first win in the UFC, looking to extend to 2, but he's got a tough matchup against Suruya. And then to finish off the prelims, of course, that didn't work, so that's fun. We got Ari Quilang versus Cody Haddon. Haddon is 8-1. Quilang is 26-12. Damn. He is 4-4 in the UFC, coming off a win over Cody Gibson. And Cody Haddon is 1-0 in the UFC, coming off a win over Dan Argueta by decision. So a couple guys coming off wins. Aori had a performance of the night bonus in his last one. They're both pretty dangerous early on, and they both go at a pretty decent pace and have some decent power in their hands. So especially early on, Haddon's a little younger, more technical. But Aori is he's got the experience, that's for damn sure. So this is one of those fights that could be pretty interesting and entertaining. That brings us to Meng Ding versus Jose Enrique. Another guy who was in the road to the UFC, I believe. There's a lot of those fighters on this card, obviously, because we're in China, and that makes sense for them to fight on a card like this. He fought in one championship. Oh, he was on the Contender Series. But he was in one championship, and he also won a title in another organization outside the UFC. So he's coming in, making his UFC debut against Enrique, Jose Enrique, 8-1, also making his UFC debut. He was on the Contender Series as well, where he lost by TKO, but then went on a 4-fight win streak outside of the UFC. So yeah, I mean, there a lot of guys making their debut on this fight. I mean, that's what, you know, that's kind of what makes this card a little less interesting, is there's a lot of fighters that people don't know, a lot of, you know, guys from China that people aren't familiar with, but you know, sometimes you get some really great fights out of that. So it is what it is. Lee Usyk versus Luis Felipe Diaz is your last fight on the main, or I'm sorry, on the prelims. And yeah, I don't know much about these guys either. 8-1 for Usyk Lee. He is, damn, this is his UFC debut as well. He's coming off of 2 submission wins. And then Diaz, 16-5 overall. He's coming from the Contender Series where he got a win by submission in the second round. So that does it for your prelims. Let's take a look at what I think is going to be a horrible picks for me, but I just kind of went through and picked them quickly because I just kind of wanted to keep it a little random still. And actually, I didn't put a whole lot of thought into it. I just kind of left it at, let's just do this. So I went with, what do you rate the card on paper? Oh man, I'll give it like a 5. It's like middle of the, maybe 5.5, 6 maybe. I don't know. It's not that great, but yeah. I don't give it too high of a rating, honestly. Like I said, a lot of not well-known guys, a lot of guys making their debut, so it's tough. All right, so I went with Song Yadong, Ming Yang Zhang, Deiveson Figueiredo, Kaya Sakura, Jake Matthews, and Sumadarji. So let's see what the fight wheel has for us. 6 fights in the main event, in the main card, and we start with Ming Yang Zhang to beat Alonzo Menefield. So we agree on that one. And I think I've been coming out on top over the fight wheel as of late. So we'll see how we do in this one. UFC Macau, 5 more picks. Totally random on the fight wheel predictions. I put Charleston. It's Carlston Harris. What a dummy. Carlston Harris to beat Jake Matthews, which we don't agree on that one. But that's what the fight wheel predicted. So we'll do Harris. All right, 2 down, 4 to go on the fight wheel predictions. Obviously, I do these all completely randomized and match them up against my picks. Oh shit. Cameron Smotherman to beat Kaya Sakura. Okay. That one I'm not sure about, but I picked Asakura. Oh shit. That is not what I meant to do. Oh no. There we go. I'm just putting in all kinds of shit here. Okay, so Cameron Smotherman is the fight wheel's prediction to beat Kaya Sakura. We got 3 more left. Oh no, 2 more. 3 more? 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, 3 more. Alex Perez to beat Sumadarji. All right, so now the fight wheel started by picking with me, and now the fight wheel is picking against me. But that's fine. That makes it interesting. All right, 2 more. We got the main event and the co-main event left. Makes sense. Oh shit. Looks like, is it gonna stay on Figgy? It is. Deiveson Figueiredo to beat Song Yadong in the main event, according to the fight wheel predictions, which are totally random. All right, so let's see what we got for the co-main. Oh no, it's not the co-main, it's the third fight. Pavlovich versus Deiveson Figueiredo, and looks like Pavlovich. All right, so we got differing opinions here. I got Song Yadong in the main event to beat Deiveson Figueiredo. The fight will predict at Figgy. We both got Zhang Ming Yang for the co-main. I picked Deiveson Figueiredo over Pavlovich. The fight will pick Pavlovich. I picked Kyle Sakura to beat Cameron Smotherman. The fight will predict at Smotherman. I picked Jake Matthews to beat Carlston Harris. The fight will predict at Harris. And I predict Sumadarji to beat Alex Perez. The fight will took Perez. So should be some interesting matchups there. And we'll see who comes out on top. We only have one. Yep, just one fight that we agree on. So somebody's going to lose by a lot. We'll see what happens. Fight will predictions. And that about does it. It's been good to come back after a little over a week off of not being live. I appreciate everybody for jumping in and hanging in there with me and coming back. It's always fun to hear from you guys and interact with you. So thank you to everybody that was in here. Anybody new, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you don't mind, or at least hit the like button before you get out of here. Everyone else, please hit that like button as well. Drop a like if you're watching this later too, please. And make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when I go live, because I will be going live early on Saturday morning for UFC Macau. Yeah, for sure, Antoine. Appreciate you for jumping in again. And anybody that wants to watch the watch party for UFC Macau early on Saturday morning, come in and I'll be live for the main card. So come back for that. Otherwise, come back for the recap of everything that happened over the weekend on Sunday. Same time, same channel, you know, all that good stuff. So that's it for me. I'm out of here. Take it easy. Peace.